move on to what I'm hoping is a fun topic for everybody. So some Star Wars chat, but I did want to take two polls first. So you have to go on record here. I'm sorry, everybody's got to go on record here. So we're gonna go in alphabetical order here. So we're gonna go Biz, Max, Welliver's here. All right, are you? You just have to say one. Originals, prequels, or sequels?
Prequels.
Max.
There's. I honestly can't say one. The answer is the overall story and not any individual film, because honestly, any individual film of Star Wars is technically terrible.
Okay. Okay. All right. So that's a great answer. We'll count that. Wellibers, what do you got?
I would say originals.
Originals. I am also originals. So we are all officially on record. I'm sorry you can't take it back. All right. Second question is, what do you call in The Mandalorian? So everybody's seen The Mandalorian. What do you call the little green guy? Biz, what do you got?
Darth Maul.
No, the little green guy's friend. You know, the one he's protecting.
Yeah, I know.
You call him Darth Maul? You're going Darth Maul?
Baby Yoda.
Okay. Max?
Oh, the child.
The child. Wellivers?
Yeah, Baby Yoda. Sorry.
Baby Yoda. All right. Just to annoy my cousin, who will kill everybody for calling it this, I will call it Baby Yoda. All right. So,
I am actually happy with like yodeling or Yoda-esque something, but it is obviously not in fact Yoda. So it has to be a reference to it's a Yoda race and not Baby Yoda.
Yeah, but
So.
we don't know the race of Yoda, so we don't know.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a logical thing, and yeah. Well,
What about just LGM from like Toy Story? LGM, Little Green Man.
we'll just call him that. I don't know if it's gonna catch on, man. I think Baby Yoda's taking it. I don't know.
Yeah,
But,
true.
all right. I've got my wife actually got a little. I'll show it sometime. But my wife got a little. You know how they weren't making the toys originally when it first came out. My wife bought a knitted one off of Etsy. It's like this little cute thing. It's about this big, and we actually carry it when we go to Disney and sometimes, and we'll walk around at Star Wars with the little Baby Yoda on, and people think it's hilarious. But all right, so you know what? You guys can take this kind of wherever you want. I thought we'd start with, since Mandalorian's coming out, Mandalorian season 2. Anybody have any just in general thoughts on Mandalorian season 2? Maybe Ahsoka, if you guys have any strong feelings about her and Rosario Dawson's portrayal or inclusion in that, or what you think she's going to do, and maybe just in general the future of the franchise. Biz, what do you think?
I reckon it's going in a good direction because, like you said, they've announced like the additional characters like Ahsoka. Like everyone wants to know where she's, what she's been doing like since, like in between that time, I guess. Then also like there's an announcement of Bo-Katan, and that would be that's pretty good casting in my opinion. I always like Katie Sackhoff. So yeah, the trailer looked good. What do you think of it, Max?
Honestly, this is going to sound ridiculous. I have not watched the trailer on it. I'm so excited by the thing that I didn't need to watch the trailer. I'm just looking forward to it coming out. So my expectations without having seen the trailer, Ahsoka, obviously a fan favorite. She's going to be huge with the dual wield option. Since the Black Saber's involved, I would expect Sabine Wren or one of her descendants to be helping track it down.
Yeah.
I can't say for sure where this is at exactly in time. I'm not sure they've given an exact point in the time frame for that yet. So I would think Sabine, maybe Ezra gets involved if he's gotten tied up with Ahsoka at this point. So I don't really know where she's at in her pursuit of finding him after the fallout and escape from the temple.
Mm.
Wellibers, I know you're a Trekkie. Do you want to comment, or do you just want to set this one out?
No, I want to say something. I think The Mandalorian is the best thing that Disney has done with Star Wars by far.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I am a person who loves The Last Jedi, by the way. I will tell you that. I think it's also what Disney is doing is at least better than what George Lucas did with the prequel. Sorry, Biz. I really don't like those movies. They're boring. I'm sorry. They're really boring. Mandalorian is by far the best I have seen what Disney has done. And I can't wait for season 2. I don't know much about the background, like Darksaber or a Kusha character is. I have not seen those cartoons, so I can't comment on that. And I did not read novels or anything. I only know those 9 movies and that's it, or 11 movies. Um, I just hope they will. What they will bring in is that they will flesh out the character of Mando a little bit further than they did in the first season. Because I was speaking on the forum to Akbar, and he had a good point that Mando was still a bit, out there. That they really didn't take a real direction with him, like an anti-hero or like a real hero, or it's still a bit out there. So I hope they will make a decision and flesh him out a little bit further like that. But I absolutely love the Mandalorian season 1, and I really can't wait for the second season. And of course, the season 1 had Taika in it as well. Huh?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I get the feeling that with Star Wars, what they're trying to typically show is the gradient scale rather than good and evil. Like everybody is somewhere on a scale. Like with they have the scoundrels, and that jumps between like Han, who you would think of as a hero, although he shoots a guy without hesitation. Like there's stuff where he doesn't seem that heroic, but he just does the right thing at the right time to have gotten the medal.
Well, that's what I liked about The Last Jedi. They did that to Luke as well. They show the dark side of Luke, and everybody has a dark side in it. Like the man said, and then we travel back to the MCU a little bit. I don't trust anyone without a dark side. It's normal for people to have a dark side. Everybody has dark thoughts. So they with that they gave Luke a much more depth than they did before.
Right.
Sorry, I moved my hands. I'm sorry.
No, I was just.
I think he was doing the evil excellent thing.
Yes. Like in terms of dark side, yeah.
I agree. Marvel did a great job of showing that. The entire Adam Warlock story with the Magus and the Goddess, like both of those are the pure evil and the pure good, and both of them are equally bad because of how they actually apply those things. And then Adam Warlock himself, without having the good or evil in him, is also kind of a question mark because he's not motivated by either, which makes him kind of just complacent about everything.
All right, so somebody catch me up a little bit. To Wells' point, I think that they'll, based on what I saw in the trailer, and it looks like it's going where you expect it to. I think it picks up more or less immediately after the last show ended. It may have been a couple of months or something like that. I don't know, but it doesn't look like it's too far in the future. But I also think that they're gonna focus for sure on, who Mando is and why he's on this quest and why it's so important to him and why he maintains it instead of just giving it up. So I think they're definitely going to get into who Mando is. But there's a lot of stuff here that I don't have a background on Star Wars enough to know or even guess where they're going with this. I have no idea what Ahsoka might be doing. No idea. I have no idea what they're doing with the black saber. What do those things have something to do with each other? What's happening there?
I can get that a little anyway. The Darksaber has a huge history. Like, it was originally with the Jedi, then it was taken from the Jedi. It was used to kill them, all sorts of things. It ended up being in control of Ren's people. The leader was the one who had wrested that from the previous person with it. So the person who held the black saber was the one in charge of Sabine Wren's race, their entire planet.
Yeah.
So
the first guy.
I think it's going to be the pursuit of that for the purpose of power, which is where I think Sabine's going to come back into it, is to rescue that and retake control of her empire.
Okay.
Do you think they will start to show us how the First Order came to power in The Mandalorian? At least show the beginning of that.
After the Empire, right?
It's
possible.
This is after Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Before The Force Awakens. And you have the fall of the Empire, and then all of a sudden you have the First Order. There is something happening in between those 2 points in time.
Yeah.
I actually thought that was probably, when I started thinking about the sequels more recently, and I enjoyed them enough, but I actually started thinking that the formation of the First Order and like what those different like states and planets and governors or whatever they are, different people in power started forming the First Order. I thought that was probably a more interesting story. Like how those guys started to work together to kind of like pick up the fragments of the Empire and kind of make their own thing out of it. I thought that would have been a cool place a cool setting for that story rather than the completed First Order. But
Yeah.
I think it would be interesting if Mando got into that direction. At least we saw like little hints of how people are connecting at that point. I think it'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they might delve into that with Moff Gideon because he's like one of the ruling guys still in that kind of, I don't know, with the Empire, more like, I don't know, what would you call it now? Not really the Empire, more like the fragments, the splinter cells or something. So yeah,
Right.
they could show that, and then also we would I guess we would be shown how he got the Darksaber in the first place, and then I think we would go into Mandalore. Maybe we'll go to the actual planet. Who knows? I don't know. Like, but was it destroyed in the war? I can't remember exactly now. Well, what time period are we in?
I've been having trouble placing that too. It's somewhere between the fall and the rise of the First Order, from what I can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's they constantly remind you in the first season that the Empire is no more.
Mm.
Imperial credits are no good anymore. That's what they say.
Yeah.
So and the First Order is not. There's no speaking of the First Order yet, but yeah, those stormtroopers have to go somewhere. Oh, Arch.
No, it just says, I just Googled it really quickly because I'm a big dumb Star Wars idiot. But the Mandalorian takes place 5 years after Return of the Jedi. So.
Oh, there we
nice.
go. Okay.
So
Yeah,
that's about
feeling-
20 years before the Force Awakens.
Mm.
So
my feeling on the decision to call it the First Order was it was basically the organization that was brought out of the chaos that we're seeing in Mandalorian. So this was the first group that managed to grab power and say, no, look, we're being controlled. And so they basically called themselves the First Order because they were the first ones bringing order back to it. I don't know if that's the case. There may be completely contrary information to that in one of the books or something. That was just kind of what I was getting out of the naming rights on that one.
And it'd be perfect time. 5 years after Return of the Jedi, you've got to be in the like the embryo stages of the First Order at that point. Somebody's started to collect it, and they may not be calling themselves that at this point, but surely the organization is at least starting to web together, at least a little bit in the first stages of it. So that'd be kind of cool to see the beginnings of that. That'd be kind of great.
Oh, by the way, are you guys excited for the Obi-Wan series?
I'm curious about it. Yeah, no, I am. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's something I would definitely watch. It's curious to me, given the long time ago, galaxy far away, whole history, lots of background thing, that they're going back to a known character. Maybe they need that to draw an interest, but I keep hoping they'll cover down and get, the original Sith, or go back and deal with some of the history that gets talked about but never seen.
Mm.
Yeah, really quickly, especially for you, Biz, maybe. Like, are you most interested in this Obi-Wan thing, or would you like to see something like not the Old Kingdom. What is it called?
The
Old Republic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I know I just look like a big idiot there, but yeah, the Old Republic. Are you more interested in stuff like that or Obi-Wan?
Definitely the Old Republic.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I think who was attached to it again? It was the person. I don't know. It was a weird choice, but the person who was behind that Oprah movie that flopped, that Disney, A Wrinkle in Time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the one. I know that African American woman who was like, I think she was like a writer, and then she's also attached to New Gods movie, but then she's also attached to this Star Wars movie. So I don't know if that's a wise choice after like A Wrinkle in Time. That's all I have to say about that. But I'm still looking forward to the Old Republic movie. So yeah.
Okay, so I've got a friend I used to work with who I was just having this conversation with the other day, and he's like very insistent that they need to stick with like Darth Vader basically. Just go with that, run everything around and use him as a lead character, and that things like the like maybe going off to splitter timelines, like not splitter timelines, but just older timelines that people aren't as familiar with. He doesn't think that it's going to work necessarily, but I think there's a whole section of the fan base, and I think all of us are probably in that section of the fan base, are kind of craving maybe some new stuff. Like I think that's why we like The Mandalorian, because it feels fresh and it feels new, even if it's in a current setting. So I feel like there's two different groups. There's some people that kind of only attached to some of the old stuff, and some people that want a lot of new stuff. Max, what do you think?
I think the problem with the run it around after Darth Vader and stuff tying to him thing is the DC problem of all we have is Superman and Batman. Like, if you keep retapping the same well, you're throwing yourself down a hole. It's just not gonna work forever. You gotta find something else, or people are gonna lose excitement.
Mm.
Tune in next week when all we do is talk about DC. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
That will be carnage. Oh no, that's Sony, right?
No. I sincerely actually hope we get some. I know there's a lot of big time DC fans, and I hope we get them on. I'm not one of them, regrettably, but I do hope we get some people on to talk about some DC.
I like DC. I really do. But what Max said is right. They just keep on repeating themselves with Batman, Superman. When they didn't, recently watched the Arrowverse for the most part. I actually really, really enjoyed it because it felt fresh. It was fun. Of course, you get they get a little bit political, but as a Trekkie, I can never complain about being too political, of course. But it was fun. You see the different characters interact with each other. And no need for Batman and Superman. I actually was a little bit disappointed when they dragged him in Supergirl season 2. It wasn't needed, but yeah, in the end it makes sense for him to show up, and of course. But yeah, it was fun. And those movies lately, they have just been repeat. Aquaman, Wonder Woman are not for nothing considered the best of the DCEU because they were fresh. They were new characters you hadn't seen before, at least not so much. And yeah, that was fun.
All right, so
I just have to put this in though, like with that Arrow show, the funny thing is though, they wanted to make a Batman show, and that's why Green Arrow is so dark in that show.
Yeah, I made that comment earlier on Nowhere, where I said that basically Oliver Queen in Arrow is basically Bruce Wayne, but then a little bit different. But there's not much difference between the two characters. But yeah, I still enjoyed it at least.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
All right,
I think DC has a powerful set of characters which they don't use, and that's a waste. They could rival Marvel and be just as good. They just choose not to.
I've always thought they should explore their bench a little bit more than they do, or at least give them some prominence. But we can talk about that a little bit later. I know we're coming up on an hour here. I just wanted to get like one other small itty bitty little topic in since we're in October. I don't know if you guys are particular horror fans or scary movie fans.